daughters, sisters, and wives. He says they're gonna change our lives. Be women, be girls. They'll make a better world. Invest in her. Invest in her. Invest in her. And now here's your host, Catherine Gray.
Hi, welcome to this week's episode of Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray, the founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. And as you know, both of those entities are designed to fund women. And today I am so excited to have on a guest who is all about funding women. She is the co-founder of GoGlobal Advisory.com. And we're going to talk about her efforts to bring tech deals, global tech deals to investors around the world. Please welcome to the show, direct from Turkey, Tara Lutman. Hi, Tara.
Hi, Catherine. Thank you for such a nice intro.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited to have you on because I love the work that you're doing. And I want to say right out of the box, I am all about connecting people, and you are a terrific connector. You have introduced me to some incredible women in the investment world, and I really appreciate that. I think that's what it's all about. We're all here to help each other. It is my show is about women helping women. And so you are the epitome of that. And I just wanted to say that right out of the box because I so appreciate all the introductions. So let's first talk about you. How did you grow up born and grow up in Silicon Valley and end up in Turkey? That's got to be a great story.
That's a good question. Yeah, I did. I grew up in San Jose, California. I was very happy. I never thought I would leave California. You know, I thought I would stay there and get married and raise my family there. And it was in graduate school where I met my Turkish husband. And that was 20 years ago. And I've been in Turkey ever since. So, I mean, when we met, I couldn't find Turkey on a map. And he hates when I say that, but it's true. But it was one of the best moves of my life and really has shaped the path that I've been on.
I love that.
That's the short version.
I love that. And you told me at 13 years old, you knew that you wanted to get a psychology degree. So let's first talk about that and how you ended up getting into this world of investment. So that's got to be a great trajectory story too.
You know, in our lives, we zig and zag. And when I was 13, my Spanish teacher asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. And he said, go home and think about it. And so I came back the next day and I had two things on my list. Either I was going to be a psychologist or an interior decorator. And I don't know why these two things, but I went home and I said, okay, I'm going to choose psychologist because I want to help people. So this was my decision. And then he came back and he gave me 5 universities that would have great psychology programs. But it really solidified in my own mind my path at that point. And why I wanted to go into psychology. And it really was where I had decided I was going to be a psychotherapist and help people with their problems. I was very interested in motivation, what motivates people. And I did that. I went in my undergraduate degrees in psychology and I was going to go on. But then, there was another zig in my path. And I was recruited by the US Department of Defense to be a data analyst. They said, we'll teach you computers, we'll give you a free master's degree. And at that time, that sounded really good to me. And so I started working with the Department of Defense. I was a data analyst. And then we had to migrate this legacy system and create this big Oracle data warehouse. So this for me was actually kind of where these worlds came together because I was on a team and we had to be the bridge between the end user and the developer. And so I understood how to speak these two languages, how to be a bridge. And when you say, thank you for saying I'm a good connector. I feel like in many roles in my life, I've always been like a bridge. I mean, even now in Turkey, maybe we'll talk about that more later, how I do that. But so this is where I moved into technology. And I saw, the power of technology to help people, but it was always people building the technology. So this is where my psychology was also involved, helping people. And it's really an element of what I'm doing now, working with people who are building technology that's making life better.
I love that. And so one of the things you had shared with me when you first moved to Turkey, you were like selling products like crafts in a bazaar, and then you started helping these women like put their products online. And this was like before there was Etsy and things like that. So you were one of the innovators in that space.
It's so funny, Catherine. When I came to Turkey, we were still on dial-up. But I didn't know Turkish. I wasn't working. And my stepmother, she found an article in People magazine about a woman who would go, I think I'm going to say Barney's. I don't know if that's true. And she would get like the old season's clothes and she was auctioning them off on eBay. And so my stepmom said, Tara, go to the Grand Bazaar, buy the shawls and the scarves and the pashminas and auction them off on eBay. So I started doing that. And I was selling these products, all over the world. I was making really good money. And then I went to this women's leadership program back in California. And there were three things that I really took away from this program. One is the idea of being a global citizen. The other is social responsibility. And the third was networking. And so
which program was that?
The program is called Women Leaders for the World. And it is run by How Women Lead. Right.
Oh, that's what I wanted to know, because I actually just got off the phone with How Women Lead, thanks to you, and got into all of their amazing programs. I'm going to have them on the podcast because I love everything they're doing to help propel women forward and help them become angel investors. I so love that work they're doing. So I love that you are a product of that program.
It was life-changing for me, Catherine, because before I was just thinking of myself, my business, and growing my business. But they got me to think globally and supporting others. And so I changed my product line and I started working with people, mostly women, who were handcrafting. And so I saw that I could sell their products online. And so I started doing this, and I got into a problem of scale because I had the products of 10 women. And then when the 11th woman came, I just didn't have the capacity. And so I had a mentor, and she said, Tara, if you teach these women how to build their own businesses, you can help 100 women, 1,000 women, 10,000 women. And this light bulb went off.
Wow.
I said, okay, so then I got more into training and teaching, and then I realized where I felt like I could have a bigger impact is that I were working with business owners that were making a bigger impact. So most of these women had their own businesses. They were supporting their families, and I loved working with them. But I felt pull to go back into technology, work with tech entrepreneurs, tech founders, tech startups. And so I started feeling around for opportunities to do this at that point. And so that was another transition in my journey.
And so that took you to these 4 things that we're going to talk about today that you're doing. I love all the work that you're doing. So let's first talk about GoGlobalAdvisory.com. This is so people can find tech startups and scalables that they can invest in. Is that right?
Absolutely. Go Global is me and my business partner. And she's Turkish, I'm American, but between the two of us, we have this amazing global network. She was one of the first women tech founders in Turkey. So she has, stories from the trenches about how she got her first, I think, $1.5 million investment from 55 angel investors, which just blows my mind. But she's, walked the path. And for me, once I came to Turkey, my network became so global. And so this is one of the things that we rely on. And the other is our background in technology and starting our own companies. And so what we do is we welcome and attract early stage tech companies, especially ones that have some kind of focus on impact, environmental impact, social impact, something in this area that it's going to change people's lives or the health of the planet in a positive way. And then
wait, if I have a listener who has a tech product that
Yeah.
can help change the world in some way,
Yes.
they should contact Go Global Advisory, and you could help connect them to get funding.
That's one of the things we do. Yeah. So for early stage tech startups, they're trying to do certain things. I mean, they've launched their MVP. So they have, some kind of prototype, some kind of working model. They have pilot tested it, perhaps. Maybe they've got their first customer. So they're cutting invoices. But now they need to grow. They need to get their second customer, or they've kind of conquered their local market. Now they want to go into Middle East. They want to go into Europe. They want to come to US. And so because of our network, we know, okay, who's the best person to take them to? Why? Or what do they need to do to get ready to go to that person? So this is why it's Go Global Advisory, because we will look at their materials, we look at where they are, and we'll say, we can take you to this investor, but here's what you need to do to get ready. And the other thing, and one of the gaps that we were seeing was that startups would go pitch to investors and they would either get a yay or an A, but they wouldn't know why, perhaps. And so if we could just get them the feedback and, if you just tweak this or add this or say this differently, then that would make the difference between, $150,000, $200,000. And so this is also something that we really try to be a bridge, connect, listen, and feedback information that will be helpful to help them grow. So this is a little bit of our process.
And this is where you and your partner come into being like coaches, advisors to tech startups or those trying to scale their business.
Yes. So I, at one point, realized, like I said, people are building technology for people, and it's people. So I along with the training, I got a coaching certification, because coaching is really a lot about performance. And so, and I, with my background in women's leadership, I could see where you can improve the leadership performance of a founder. And this actually goes back to why I wanted to study psychology, motivation, perception, mindset. And so this is one thing that we bring. And so, we have like a holistic way that we support founders. It's not just sharing their deck around to see what sticks, but going very consciously to the right region, the right investor, the right opportunity. And sometimes they don't necessarily need funding. They need a client. They need a place to pilot test. They need, so we do some business development too, and we've got contracts with, big telecom companies, for example, that enable them to onboard a lot of users really quickly. So we'll look for opportunities like this, and the coaching is just like, keep your head in the game, keep your vision in your mind, stay focused on the end game that you're going to. So
I think it's so important that tech startups or any startup find that coach and mentor that they can bounce things off of, that have connections they don't, that have knowledge they don't, because most entrepreneurs have an idea and it's amazing, but they don't have all of those connections and contacts and expertise.
I hear that a lot of time. It can be lonely, especially if you haven't built a big team around you yet, or you're a solo founder, perhaps. But the other thing that I've heard from investors, and these are Silicon Valley investors, one of my friends said, he said, Tara, I had 10 billionaires in a room. I mean, there was money in the room, and the founder pitched and walked away with nothing. Wow. Because they didn't listen to what people were saying. They were not coachable.
Right.
And so I'm not saying you have to have a coach to be coachable, but it's a mindset. Am I open? Am I willing to listen? Can I open my vision about what's possible. If I'm going to bring on this investor, and have this relationship, can we communicate? Can we have a dialogue? So
Absolutely. I think what you do is invaluable. And let's talk about you're on the board of Arya, which you told me is a women's investment platform, ariawomen.com. Let's
yes.
let's talk a little bit about that. What is that? How could people get involved with that? Why would they?
So Arya is a great organization. They're based in Turkey. Two women co-founded Ariya Women because they realized that women are an untapped resource. And the mission of Arya is to create more women investors. So they have a lot of programs about teaching women how to build their wealth, how to become investors, how to recognize what a good investment is. And they have, and to meet that, they have an accelerator program for startups so that they can invest in these women-led startups. And then they have a lot of capacity building programs, leadership programs, speaking programs. They have networking, lots of things to support that. But the main mission is to create more women investors.
I love that. I love that there's all these new programs that are teaching women to become investors, because you and I both know until there are more investor women at the table, we won't be getting more funding. And as everybody watching this show knows, we get less than 2% of venture capital funding. 98% goes to men. How are we going to change that? There's one main answer, and that is we need more women investors. So I'm so glad to let people know about these programs that they could take. And you could be anywhere in the world and take their programs, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. So Arya is based in Turkey. And one of the reasons that they brought me onto the board is because they wanted more global outreach. How can we bring Arya to more countries, more regions, more cultures, and then, bring more people into Arya?
Right.
So one of the, and maybe you're going to ask me about this, Catherine, but one of the programs that we're working on right now is actually in collaboration with Village Capital. And Village Capital is a nonprofit organization based in Washington, D.C. And they bring investor readiness training to the underserved, emerging countries, women-led startups. And so we're working on building a program between Village Capital and Arya and GoGlobal that supports women-led startups, especially working on areas of sustainability. So, and in this region particularly. So this is one thing that we're doing to expand Arya, make it more global. And, here I am being a bridge again. This is what I find I do really well. So
yeah, a bridge connector. That's amazing, because this is the way we are going to lift women up, is by collaborating. We don't have to do everything ourselves. We need to be part of these global communities that can help find us investors and can help us learn to be investors. And that's what I hope people take away from Invest in Her program is be sure to think about how you can invest in other women. And, some people get nervous about that. Like, oh, I don't know where to begin. This is where you begin with these programs that we're telling you about. You can go to these websites and sign up for their programs and learn how to become an angel investor. And if you are an entrepreneur with a great idea, you can reach out to Go Global Advisory and these different entities that we're talking about, and they will help you find funding. So nobody has to go it alone. And when I say help you find funding, people don't know where to begin. They don't know how to pitch and whatnot. I love that you bring that to the table and you help people develop their pitch, fine tune their pitch. You've been in this space a long time. You know what investors are looking for. Nobody has to start from, I always say, why start from ground zero when there's other people out there ready, willing to help you? So whether you want to get funding or want to become an investor, these are some tools that people can use. And I just love the work that you're doing. And our being in this space, I was telling someone today, is so exciting. We get to hear about all these new innovative ideas that are launching, incredible women that are super smart entrepreneurs and they're passionate. It's just a beautiful world to immerse yourself in, either as a funder or a founder, right?
Catherine, my dad says all the time. He said, it's a great time to be alive. And I think it's true. And, you said something about we need to support each other and come together. And I think this is really how women work best, is in circles, in collaboration, in supporting each other. And I didn't tell you this, but when I graduated from my undergraduate and I started working for the Department of Defense, some women that I worked with started an investment club. And so it was like we're investing $100 a month or something, and in public companies. But because we were together, we would share the research responsibilities, we would make the decisions together. It was lowered the risk. And now that I see what we're doing at Arya, and I see how women invest, they really thrive in this kind of environment.
Right.
And
pooling their monies together in a fund or something like that.
yes,
You don't have to be an island when you're an investor. You can get with other women investors and collaborate. It's a beautiful and exciting world.
Yeah. So it's, I'm happy to be. I've been in women's leadership. I don't know. I don't work exclusively with women, but it seems to be that's mostly who I work with, and I see the strengths that they have. The unique. And actually, I should say this: when we talk about the masculine and the feminine, we have both of these in ourselves to different degrees, and women just tend to operate in the more feminine, perhaps more comfortably, generally speaking. I'll say, not as a rule, but generally speaking. And
I mean, each brings different things to the table, but it is a fact that women entrepreneurs tend to outperform their male counterparts, so they do make a great investment. Let's just say that. And
yes, that's true.
So I just want to wrap up by saying I really appreciate the work you're doing, the resources that you're supplying to women entrepreneurs in tech, and all people in tech. But I want to say a focus on women in tech, because that's who probably is listening and wanting to know, how to get a hold of Tara Lutman and work with her, and GoGlobalAdvisory.com. Can they also follow you on social media?
Absolutely. You can find me on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. I'm on all the platforms. So, I'm very, very open to connecting. If Go Global can't support you, it's very likely I know someone who can. So,
I have no doubt about that, folks. No doubt about that.
I'm really happy.
So GoGlobalAdvisory.com. They can find Tara Lutman, and also on social media. Of course, you can find She Angel Investors and She Angel Foundation on social media as well. We really appreciate you taking the time to tune in. We hope that we've provided some resources that can help you get your business started or take it to the next level, or that you'll share it with someone who can. If you enjoyed the program, please reach out to us. And also, of course, give us a great review and stars and whatever. If you like the podcast, we appreciate you sharing it with others. So thank you, Tara, for taking the time. We send you hugs to Turkey and wish you a great week. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Make it a great day.
Our theme music was created and produced by Lindsay Tomasic.